one of the defects of our current educational culture is that it's all about recipes for success. And that's great. I mean, people need to succeed. I'm not against success, but it's not always up to you. And part of what we learn about when we study the suffering of other people in our community, other parts of the world, or in the past, is sometimes you just lose everything all at once because you're oppressed by your political community, or because of bad luck or misfortune, or what have you, illness. So you need resources to keep yourself going, to remind yourself of who you are as a human being, and that's the sense of dignity, to know that you're not just um, a service worker, who's held in low esteem by your community. First of all, service work is beautiful, but even more than that, you have a mind and an inner life upon which you can reflect, and you can know and understand all kinds of things that are not necessarily indicated by your social status. Job training, it seems to me, should be the responsibility more of employers than of public institutions. And one of the dangers of thinking about education as job training is, especially in this current environment, there's like 10 enormous companies which run the world. So they decide what job training is, and then the rest of us all do it. I mean, is that really how we're going to live? So there's part of what liberal arts is to help people think about what work is and what community is, in a way that's constructive and helpful and imaginative and creative, and makes things better. The sense of teaching as a person-to-person activity, teaching as mentoring, as modeling habits, habits of mind, habits of the heart, habits of reading, habits of thinking, for young people to imitate and make their own. And I think that the liberal arts are not content. The content, there's a lot of content, and there's a lot of things you can learn, but the core of a liberal arts education are those habits and virtues, and those can only be taught in a personal community. This is the argument I used to think was silly, that liberal education promoted citizenship, but I've started to think it's really deeply true. That is, you have to be trained to make judgments, and you have to learn all of the hazards of making judgments. You can make a mistake, you can not have information, there's sometimes just different ways people can judge that are equally valid, and you have to learn to live with that. And increasingly, I think I see our culture we become more passive, and we permit other people, other authorities, to make judgments for us. And I find that frightening. So I think that the whole what we want, whatever our vision of human community and human flourishing, we want people who can think and reflect what's meaningful, what matters, and who are willing to make judgments as to how to bring it about. And we want something roughly egalitarian, as we all want to be participants in this process. We don't want, I think the way it is becoming, there's so much wealth concentrated in the hands of such few people, they end up calling the shots for everything. And that affects our judgments about what's good, and our sense of agency in our own communities, and all of these things. So I think in the end, it really is really instrumentally valuable for all kinds of things. And I didn't emphasize that at the time because of what I felt the rhetorical situation was calling for. But I do think that it's very important for building the kind of community, the kind of society that we want to live in.